this meeting is being broadcast via Zoom and here in the chambers. And so I will call this meeting to order. It is 11:49 and ask Jeanette to call roll, please.
City of Carmel, Montesee.
Here.
City of Del Rey Oaks.
Here.
City of Marina.
Here.
City of Monterey.
Ed Smith, alternate for Gene Rash.
Thank you. City of Pacific Grove.
Here.
City of San City.
Here.
City of Salinas.
I'm the alternate for Councilmember Burr.
Thank you. City of Seaside.
Here.
County of Monterey.
Absent.
And Monterey Regional Airport.
Here, Carl Miller, alternate for Dino Pick.
And you have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. With that, we will go ahead and move on to the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'd like to ask Carl as our.
Golly.
Yes, we see you once a year in that special event. If you'll lead us in the pledge, please.
Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. We'll move on to review of highlights of the agenda, Carl.
The highlights of this agenda is that there are no highlights. We have a consent agenda that provides the financial report for the last preliminary financial report for 2025, the 2024 audit and transfer of funds from the authority to MST for administrative services, and the procurement of general liability and directors and officers insurance premiums not to exceed $18,000. We will receive a report from the administrator on activities, which were few this year. And then the critical item is item 7.1, you adopt the budget. For all of whatever it is, not very much money. So that concludes my highlights.
Okay, thank you, Carl, and I beg your pardon, that is the highlight of the day.
The highlight of the day is
gonna be a short one.
adopting the budget, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Carl. With that, we'll move on to public comments on matters not on the agenda. At this time, members of the public may address the board on any matter related to the jurisdiction, but not on the MSP agenda. There's a time limit of no more than 3 minutes for each speaker, and the public is encouraged to engage in respectful dialogue. Failure to engage in respectful dialogue will result in speakers being muted or required to leave. So at this time, public comment is open.
Madam Chair, I see no public comment.
Okay, and no one here in the conference center. We'll close public comment and move on to the consent agenda. So we have two items, item 3.1, or actually 3.1 through 3.4. They are listed here. Is there any board member who would like to request an item be discussed or will be considered separate? Okay.
Madam Chair, I have to abstain from the minutes because I wasn't here.
Okay.
So I'm the alternate,
Okay, thank you.
only from that.
We'll note that. Thank you, Gloria.
And me as well.
Okay.
And me is.
Oh.
We're gonna have a forum.
No, we got it.
Okay.
Yeah. We can still pass it. Yeah.
Okay. With that, we'll go ahead. Thank you. And we'll go ahead and open this up for public comment. Public comment is open. Not seeing anyone in the conference center or via Zoom. We'll go ahead and close public comment. And I'll ask, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Move to the motion to approve the agenda.
Joe, we do have a second. And I'll go ahead and ask all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any noes? Any abstentions?
There's
I believe
there's going to be 4 abstentions and
Yeah.
5 yeses.
we had those noted.
Just barely.
And most, with that, motion carries. Okay, moving on to reports and presentations for one. So Kevin, we have Kevin L's house here. The report is on page 45, and it is to receive the RTA Administrative Report for year 2025 months or July 2024 through June of 2025.
All right,
Welcome,
thanks.
Kevin.
Thanks, Chair Carbone, members of the board. My name is Kevin Alshouse. I am the RTA Administrator and Contract Services Manager for MST. And I just wanted to provide an update on some of the activities and some of the administrative and permitting activities for FY25. So there were 3 new companies. We typically get not even a permit application a year for owner permits, and we received 3 this past year. So that's a big increase, obviously. This board approved VIP Taxi in August, and then California Taxi and Salinas Taxi Cab Company. Those were both approved by this board in October. And I just wanted to just give you kind of just an update on those companies specifically, because I wanted to highlight just what a great job they're doing, just in terms of compliance, communication. They all get it. They understand the importance of compliance and communicating what's going on to the RTA administrators. We recently had to reassess the dues because there was some movement in some of the vehicles. So we charge based on the number of vehicles, and there was some movement between the companies. So just in the interest of fairness, we did a reassessment of the dues to make it more fair. And these 3 companies understood that they had added some additional vehicles, and they understood the importance of paying their fair share, and it just was a very smooth process. So we've got those 3 new companies. There were 10 new operator permits issued, 69 renewals. So we're looking at we've got about 79 total drivers. There were 81 vehicle permit renewals. We did receive 1 complaint. That was from a driver who was frustrated that he felt that not everyone was getting permitted. He felt that there's drivers out there that are operating without permits. And obviously that's something that we want to crack down on, and that's something that's not acceptable. So anytime we get a complaint like that, we obviously address it, but we need to have actionable information. So we need to know which company, preferably vehicle number, that sort of thing, so that we can follow up on it. And unfortunately, in this complaint, there wasn't any actionable information that we could pursue. So there were 200 appointments, about a 26% increase from the previous year. But I did want to highlight the random inspections. There were no random inspections this year. That was for a couple reasons. There was a retirement at the Monterey PD. Karen Furrow, the senior administrator, retired. They did hire Alma Murphy. She's the new senior administrator, but unfortunately there was a little bit of that specific duty wasn't assigned. I'll just say that. But it's my responsibility to check throughout the year to make sure that those randoms are being done. And that's something that I did not do until it was too late. So there were no random inspections this year. There was attempts towards the end of the fiscal year to get some compliance. Unfortunately, some of the requests that were sent out for random inspections weren't adhered to. And that's something that we can do as administrators on our end. When we know that companies aren't complying, we can follow up with those companies. So we had a meeting last week with Alma Murphy and Angie Madruga from Monterey PD, just to kind of talk about this issue. Obviously, this is embarrassing for us that there weren't any random inspections. So we want to know going forward how to improve on this. And it's just like all, relationships, all successful relationships, it's about communication. So it's just a matter of us communicating better with each other. Also, we want to bring Monterey County Weights and Measures into this. They do the meter inspections, so we want to coordinate with them. Have everyone coordinating together to make sure that the drivers out there are permitted. And so that's sort of the black eye over this last year is just the lack of random inspections. And that's my report. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Just questions, Carl?
Thank you for the report. A couple quick questions. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with a lot of the terminology. So when you say random inspection, are we talking about a vehicle inspection? Are we talking about a drug testing or what exactly?
Random vehicle inspection. So they will call in, randomly drivers to come in and they, just do an inspection of their vehicle, make sure that, there's no issues with their vehicles, checking their tires, that sort of thing. They check their licenses, they check, just making sure that this driver is permitted, they have everything that they need to do to operate.
And what about random drug testing?
That's done through the companies. So
Okay.
the companies,
We will not receive a report on that or?
we do not receive a report on that,
Okay.
but
Oh, if a driver, it's very rare, if a driver fails a drug test, that's reported to the PD, Monterey PD, and then their license will be suspended, and then
Okay.
will be notified, and then there's an appeal process, which then it's been years since we've been through this, but that calls me into the mix, and we have a meeting with the driver, the PD, and determine if there's any reason to not suspend the driver. And to date, in the 12 years that we've been operating as the taxi authority, I can think of one failure that resulted in a person's license being suspended for 7 years. If you fail a drug test, you're not allowed to have a taxi permit for 7 years in Monterey County per our ordinance.
Very good. And the only other question I have is for the three new companies, VIP, Cal, and Salinas. How many vehicles or drivers are we talking about there?
yeah, so for VIP, it's a small company. They've got 2. Salinas Taxi Cab Company, they've got 13. So they started with 1 and then obviously quickly added a lot of drivers. And then California Taxi has 11.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Chair, question?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. What's the difference with when you say appointments? And tell me the terminology of what's an appointment, and because there's a lot of appointments throughout the year.
Right, yeah. So appointment, that's just kind of the general overarching term. So that anytime somebody comes in for a permit renewal,
Okay.
so kind of just any administrative action where a driver has to come in, we would mark that as an appointment.
Okay, and conversely on the error of not following up and having the vehicle inspections throughout the year, are you satisfied that you're hearing what you need to hear from the administration at Monterey PD?
Oh, yeah.
In terms of their renewed recognition of the responsibility with the new assignment.
Absolutely. Yeah, they were, very apologetic. It was just one of those things that kind of fell through the cracks, but it's incumbent on me to notice. So
I've asked Kevin to provide me a quarterly update
Okay,
of where we stand,
okay,
because I wasn't, this is something that's been on autopilot for so long. I didn't even know Karen retired. Right. So, and she's been doing this since
Yeah.
the very beginning.
yeah.
So, when I saw the copy of the report, I looked at the numbers and I asked Kevin, what went on, what happened? And then I found out, I said, okay, Kevin will be reporting to me on a quarterly basis so that we know this doesn't happen again.
Okay,
Just something we got comfortable with. We had a comfortable relationship changed, person left,
okay.
and didn't happen. So
Understood. And so when there's a vehicle inspection, that's conducted by all of these different companies. Those inspections are occurring here. They have to bring the vehicle here.
Yeah, they bring it to the PD, to
Okay.
Monterey PD.
They bring it to Monterey PD, they do the inspection, and then there's a fee that's collected, and then so how does that happen?
No fee. It's just, it's just our attempt to make sure that the vehicles that are out there are all compliant. So we just randomly we'll bring people in. So there's no fee associated with that.
So those costs are built into the permit that they get every year because the city collects the permit fee for the driver. MST collects the permit fees for the companies.
Okay.
So everything that's driver and vehicle related is built into the city of Monterey's permit fee and is covered by that.
Okay.
And just a quick point of clarity, all the vehicles are inspected. So I don't want to give the impression that, only the vehicles that are randomly inspected are compliant. So everyone, so there were 81 vehicle permits. When they're issued a vehicle permit, they go through everything, to make sure that they have everything that they need to be issued the permit. And then the random inspection, that's just throughout the year, we will randomly pull people to make sure that they're
So
still compliant.
someone doesn't take a good pair of tires off of a cab, put them on a cab, get their permit, and then go change the tires to some bald tires. So and that happens. So we do put the random process in place to make certain there aren't people trying to play games.
Okay, thank you. So that would have been one of the questions I had, so how that works. But I do have just a couple because we only meet once a year.
Yeah.
So
Take time.
on those on the drivers, do they have a background test for drivers? Does that go through MST or through the cab company?
The background checks go through the city of Monterey PD. They get a live scan fingerprint.
And then do they take MST training or updated training, those drivers?
In order to be able to accept our taxi vouchers, the drivers go through how many hours?
It's about 4 hours.
4 hours of training each year.
Every other year.
Every other year they go through, we call it the taxi
AD.
ADA certification training TACT. So it's really how to work with people with disabilities and make sure they understand their requirements under the ADA. So every other year, the drivers have to take get a 4-hour certification in order to be able to be reimbursed for the taxi vouchers, which is their major source of income. They get more money from our taxi vouchers they get more reportable income from our taxi vouchers than from any other reportable income. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, and then thank you, Carl. And then one last I guess question. So Kevin, you mentioned weights and measures. Is that for accuracy on the meter?
Yeah, exactly. So they do a meter inspection, typically the beginning of the year, January and February, and then they send us a report of all the meters that they've inspected.
So then we reconcile those vehicles against the vehicles that we're getting permitted so that we have some cross check to make sure no one's falling through the cracks.
Thank you. Any other directors, any questions or comments? And if not, I'll open it up to public comment. Public comment is open on this item. And not seeing anyone, we'll go ahead and close public comment. And directors, any further discussion or comments? And if not, we'll go ahead. Do we need action? There's a staff recommendation on page 41 to receive the RTA administrative report for FY 2025.
You've received it.
Okay, report received. Okay, and so no other action, no votes needed.
Not on that one.
Okay.
Next
All
one.
right, moving on to the next. There are no, number 5 was not needed, 5, 6. So we'll move on to item 7, action items, and this is to adopt fiscal year 2026 final operating budget. And Andrea Williams, and you can find your staff report on page 51. Welcome.
Hello. Good afternoon, Andrea Williams, Finance Manager. On page 55 in your board packet, you will find the fiscal year 2026 draft operating budget. For this budget, we assumed 101 valid operating vehicles, which is consistent with what is currently being operated, and a 4.1% increase as compared to the prior year budget, with no changes to the per vehicle permit fee cost. The expense side of the budget reflects a realignment of some expenses in the categories based on prior year results and trends. This includes increased costs for audit services and permit sticker decals, as well as reduced costs in areas such as legal services and insurance coverage projections. This has resulted in an overall reduction in expenses of 4.3% as compared to the prior year budget. Staff is proposing that the deficit of $8,410 be absorbed from existing cash reserves. Staff recommends the RTA board adopt the proposed fiscal year 2026 operating budget. If the actuals do result in a deficit, the board should consider a potential fee increase for the next fiscal year to reduce future reliance on reserves and support and ensure long-term fiscal sustainability.
Thank you. With that, is there any questions or comments on the staff report?
Is there a policy by the board of what the amount of the reserve should be retained?
Not for the RTA. There is one for MST.
Yeah.
We haven't, we've not, we can come back next year with that if we want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
No hurry.
there's no hurry and no urgency, but it's one of those things.
It's a best practice.
It's one of those things that we should have so that the board is saying, well, yes, we would accept your recommendation because we're not taking our reserves down below what the policy is. So, yeah.
And I'll have to go back and check if we, it's been a dozen years.
Yeah.
And we may very well have just adopted what the then MST policy was 15%, but we'll go back and take a look. And if there is one, we'll take a look to see if it's still appropriate. If there isn't one, we'll have to ask your board to adopt one.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, and anyone else? And not seeing anyone, we'll go ahead and open it up to public comment. Public comment is open. And not seeing anyone from the public raising their hand, either via Zoom or in the conference room, we'll go ahead and close public comment. And I'll bring it back to the directors. There is a staff recommendation on page 51 to adopt fiscal year 2026 final operating budget. So looking for a motion.
So
Director Smith and second Director Pacheco. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any noes? And it's no abstentions, motion carries. With that, we will go ahead and move down to comments by board members. Item 9.1. Reports on meetings attended by board members, and I don't believe there were any. So we'll go ahead to board member comments and announcements at this time. Seeing none? Yes, Director
Miller. We had a groundbreaking at the airport. We're moving right along with that. We hope to have the terminal completed in about a year and a half. Fingers crossed. It went from 67 million to 87 million to 107 million. But hopefully it comes in at or around that. So Other thing I would like to talk about briefly is last year, my wife and I were in San Francisco and we entered one of these driverless cabs. And it was very interesting. This drove us to where we were going without incident. A little bit more expensive than an Uber, but has there been any talk about having those vehicles operate here?
No one's approached us, and I'm not even certain if we would regulate that sort of thing. Some things like Uber and Lyft are regulated by the state
Right.
PUC. And I have a feeling that the autonomous vehicles would likewise be regulated by the state PUC, but that's that, you know, we'll find out if anyone approaches us on that.
Well, if you ever find yourself in San Francisco, we went with Waymo.
Yeah.
They use electric Jaguars, nice vehicles. And it was a very smooth ride, and it negotiated itself through traffic without incident and got us there. So
Did you tip the driver?
that was the question I had. I did a video of it, Ed. I'll share it with you, and that was the big question: do we tip the driver? And there's no driver there, of course, and the wheel's moving itself. And before you enter, it parks, and there were a couple of them around, but your initials pop up on the dome, and you know that's the vehicle you got to go into. So yeah, it was. Yeah, I encourage you to just try it out. You have to download the app Waymo before you can, but it's going to be the future.
Yeah.
I'll comment that I believe we did attend an MST conference. I'm not sure if it was Jacksonville, Florida, but we did go on a bus.
An autonomous bus. That's that was in Jacksonville. They have it's on a fixed route.
Yeah, so we have tried the bus.
Yeah, I had an opportunity in Austin earlier this year to attend a conference, and they had quite a few Waymo vehicles. But we'll just say the experience that I had was maybe perhaps the opposite, the other side of the coin.
Oh, really? What happened to you?
The vehicle just because it was at a conference center, and there was a lot of Uber and Lyft and driver vehicles, plus people attending the conference crossing the street. The vehicle froze and could not move. It could not process in all that information. It didn't know what to do safely, so it couldn't figure it out. So it just
I heard of
stopped.
an incident where homeless people they know if you stand in front of the car, it sort of locks it in place.
Yeah, this was just a lot of foot traffic coming in and out of a large conference hotel in downtown Austin, and the vehicle froze, and it was in the kind of the horseshoe where all your people are coming into the hotel and picking up traffic. Now
Everything stops.
everything stopped, and it backed up into the street.
Till it's
And
reboot time.
the valets were all upset, and they were trying to get a hold of the police, and they wanted to tow it, and it was a I should have videoed that, but
The reset button.
so there's still more to come on that technology.
Well, an autonomous bus, you would think with the surf, that would lend itself to that, not being on,
Yeah.
being on the roadway, it could work.
We'll keep that in mind.
Just to add to this, I did ride in a driverless train in Tokyo earlier this year.
Really?
Yes, so. And no issues. It was interesting. It's interesting to sit in the front.
Wow.
Well, with that, we'll move on to board member referrals for future RTA agendas.
I heard come back to either reevaluate or establish a cash reserve policy for the RTA at our next meeting.
Well, with that, we'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting, and we'll see you all next year. July 30th.